get the whole story.
Welcome back to the broadcast as we continue to dissect through the education sector in the country. Today we're handling reforming the education sector, just making sure that it is working. Before we went on the break, we were discussing on how to make the teacher happy. Let me just come to you, Daktari. How do we make the teacher happy? Because already they are saying we need to see our parks made better.
Thank you.
A smiling teacher is a smiling student.
Thank you, Dennis. Allow me to ask, are you in any way related to a teacher? Because you've spoken about that issue with a lot of smile on your face.
Well, my best uncle is a teacher, Mr.
Wonderful.
Olo. Yes.
I could get it. Allow me to answer that question together with the professor. Oh, Professor, you can get me there. You'll take the remuneration part. But let me speak about making a teacher happy from the curriculum aspect. An empowered teacher is a very happy teacher. And that is one of the issues that we have truly handled in the report, because I spoke about the implementation strategy. So first is an empowered teacher who has the knowledge and the tools to handle the tasks in the classroom during teaching and learning is a happy one. And I assure all the teachers of Kenya, even those who had not received the retooling, that is going to be done. And then number two is teacher welfare. And I believe part of the reasons why we opted to give TSC the HR mandate and the ministry, the management of teachers, is because it was too much of our work to be done just by TSC alone because of lack of manpower. In fact, many times, like this issue of TPAD, teacher development programs, they had even, they had to outsource. So that is actually going to make the teacher very happy. And number three, an aspect that one of our brothers spoke to as we began the show, he seemed to have doubt on how these learning areas are going to be reduced. Now, that is something I should speak to, because the teacher is listening, the Kenyan is listening before I leave the studio, so that there is no doubt.
Yes.
Those learning areas, already KICD had carried out a major summative evaluation, and they had already identified the gaps, the overloads, the overlaps, appropriateness, the competencies and the skills that need to be imparted. So by reducing those learning areas into meaningful areas of imparting knowledge, that's another thing that is really going to motivate the teacher. And number four, the opening of our Kenyan own Open University. Teachers will read and learn more from the comfort of their classrooms and the comfort of their homes. The rest, I think I asked my brother there to...
Yes, Prof, you could take over from there. How do you make the teacher happy?
I want to begin, Dennis, by saying a happy teacher is one who has been prepared well from the institution of learning. That is where I would begin. When our institutions of learning can prepare our teachers well, the teacher training colleges, universities, that is where it starts. And we would like to tell Kenyans that we paid attention to this very seriously. We even went further and said, even those who are teaching in universities who don't have pedagogy must be given pedagogy. The fact that you can speak out chemistry, biology, physics, history, you must know how to prepare a teacher, because our teachers are prepared across board, across schools or faculties. So if we want to prepare a good teacher and have a happy teacher, it starts with his training. And in this working party report, we have said a teacher will be prepared over 4 years. 3 years will be at the institution for the universities, and 1 year will be out there within schools that will form a partnership with the universities and teacher training colleges to prepare the teacher over 2 terms while they learn the art, the practice, the science of teaching within schools. Now, let me now answer, how do you make a teacher happy? I think it is one of the most difficult things to do, because a teacher has so many roles. He is a parent, he is a curriculum developer, he is a course designer, he works on issues of assessment, then he has to teach, he has to nurture, he has to find what is best in a child and make the child potentially useful to this nation. So when somebody does all those things put together, then the country must pay attention to his needs. And I think in our report, we have looked at what has happened with the TSC so far and said there must be ways of making a teacher happy. It is demoralizing for a teacher to be prepared or trained, whether teacher training college or university, then they spend 6 years waiting to be recruited. And I think we have said there will be a mandatory 1 year attachment where they will be in school for 1 year, attached to those schools as it is right now with those who are finishing colleges elsewhere and going into practice. So that time when they finish 1 year, it is expected that automatically the Teachers Service Commission will be prepared to recruit them. Now, the challenges with teacher happiness begins at recruitment. If it takes too long, if it is not done well so that everybody has an equal opportunity to be recruited, then we do injustice to others. Then deployment. Deployment is critical, that a teacher is deployed where he can best serve the institution. And here we discussed issues and recommended that there must be ways of making it possible for teachers to go to hard-to-staff areas or regions, places where we have a deficit of teachers because of challenges of security. And we said the ministry should be able to create a framework that enables such a teacher to know they are secure, they are better remunerated because of where they are, and they can serve within a society that appreciates what they are doing. Further to that, there were issues of transfer which the government has already dealt with, and we are grateful to that. The issue of delocalization. In our trips across the regions, when we went to the counties, we met teachers who spoke about dismal life, mental states, because they had been forced to move away from their families, go hundreds of miles away from home at the point of retirement, maybe 2 years retirement, and they had been moved. And I think this has been taken care of. The issue of delocalization has been changed. And I think in our argument and in our report we are saying, let the young go and serve Kenya wherever they are sent. And let those who are nearing time to retire. You lost me?
Yeah, continue, Prof.
Hello?
Sorry.
Yeah, so that we make sure that a teacher is transferred where there is need to move him to. There's one little thing I want to talk about. We also realize that there's no equal distribution of teachers in this country. We may talk about gaps in terms of staffing, but there are some regions where there are more teachers than they are needed, especially in urban areas. And the issue here is that normally there's a tendency for certain persons to want to be transferred where their families are. So around towns you'll find so many teachers, while in the rural areas there's a dire need for teachers. And so this has been addressed, and we have asked the Teachers Service Commission to see how they can redistribute teachers and also recruit many teachers. Like my sister said, it's an area the government has handled extremely well. Now, issues of remuneration. We came across issues where teachers said, you call some areas hardship areas. Yet if you went to places like even Kiambu, if you went to places like Gwasi, you'll find places where there's hardship in a place you don't expect to find hardship conditions. Even in cities like Nairobi, in some slum areas, there are really hardship areas to work in. And these are issues that the ministry will have to work with the Teachers Service Commission. Now, one little thing I must not forget, why we thought we should deal with the overlaps between the Teachers Service Commission in terms of their roles and responsibilities and the ministry. We are cognizant of the fact that Teachers Service Commission is established and is given certain roles and responsibilities by the Constitution. But the mother ministry is the Ministry of Education. The owner of the students is the Ministry of Education. The person who expects a teacher to answer is the Ministry of Education, because the ministry is responsible to the country, is responsible to the citizen of Kenya. So we found those overlaps and everybody spoke to them, and we are agreed very, very strongly that this is one area that we must resolve. And there is, of course, a bill to that effect that we hope the chair of the education committees will be able in Parliament and in Senate to be able to pick up and resolve these issues as quickly as possible within the time we made.
All right, Prof. Now, I want us to go back to the report, Dr. Yeah? And let's just go back to the renaming of these schools. You know, like primary school to be renamed comprehensive school. Question is, why did you think that is important? Also, we see that we will have comprehensive school to host 11 classes, junior secondary and senior secondary. The term secondary will be dropped. We will have junior high, senior high. I mean, when it comes to rearranging the entire education system, also going for categorized STEM, social sciences, arts and sports science, why do we have to go that way?
Thank you so much, Dennis. But before I get to that question, allow me just to add a radar to the redeployment of teachers, to our young Kenyans who have been recruited by TSC to go and teach in various areas of this country. I assure you that there is no area of this country that is not accessible. We managed to visit the 47 counties. We visited them, we came back, we are safe. So do not be discouraged. Wherever you are sent to go and teach, go there with grace, do it. You are a patriot. We are doing it for our country. This is a new dawn. Now, coming to the issue of renaming the schools comprehensive.
Yes.
Let us first of all start with the simple definition of the word comprehensive. It simply means complete. It is broad. It is holistic. Now, we are having the primary and the junior school in one place. There was already a lot of confusion amongst the Kenyans. How do you bring a primary school into how do you bring a secondary school into a primary school? It is a comprehensive school for the simple reason that if we have to attain the 100% transition, it can only happen in a comprehensive school. Every Kenyan who's watching me this evening, it is a comprehensive school because we've already run away from classes. Classes connote advancement in terms of ranking, but then we are having grades. What are we talking about? Quality of what we are teaching them, the intensity of what we are teaching them, and the skills that they have to acquire. So comprehensive school simply means it is a complete school that has these children of ours whom we love so much, from PP1 up to grade 10, grade 9. And then they move to now the senior school. Why is it a comprehensive school? You know, the difference between the 844 system and the CBC system of education is because specialization begins immediately when that child enters a pre-primary school. Specialization begins. But in 844 and the system which I benefited from the system of independence, brought about by the Ominde Commission. Specialization began in university. And for the same reason, because of those specializations, we have to categorize the learning areas into what we have. But then, we are not going to lose out the doctors. The doctors, the engineers, the nurses, and everything still remains. The only thing is we are bringing in a new dawn. And if we have to go as per the position statement of the KICD, that nurturing every learner's potential. So we have to nurture every learner's potential within the 3 categories. And I can see you're looking at me, but let me say one thing to the Kenyans, because I will not have this opportunity again. We have a lot of unsung heroes when it comes to this competency-based education system in Kenya. The first unsung hero for me when I was in the field now is the KICD. They've worked, they've done their best. And I think now with these new reforms, we are good to go and we are on taxi.
And I agree with you. Unsung heroes, our teachers, we continue to celebrate them across the country. In studio with me to have this conversation, Dr. Jen Imbunya, curriculum expert, director, quality assurance, Kaimosi Friend University, and Professor Peter Baraza from Alupe University, making sense of this report and just how we should proceed moving forward. My name is Dennis Aseto, and we are discussing reforming the education sector in the country. I will see you in a few as I bring you Weekend Prime. Enjoy the rest of your VA.